Hello, Chris from Chris Design Co. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to import a double-sided job correctly and get it set up for toolpathing. So I'm going to double click on the model and we're going to open it up. And the first thing you need to do in your job setup, you need to make sure you check double-sided, not single, not rotary. I know the model is going to be smaller, so I'm going to set my job site for 5 inches by 5 inches. I'm going to keep it at 7.75 inches thick. I'm going to leave it on material surface, left lower quadrant, and I'm going to flip it left to right. And I'm going to put it on very high, and I'm going to hit OK. So now, once it imports, you need to center it. So you come over here and center. Now we're good. Now we need to position and import it. Now because this is double-sided, you make sure you keep it right in the middle. Now if it was up here like this, what you need to do is just go to this hash mark and double click on it, and it brings you right to the middle. And you're going to make sure you have create both sides, not highlight undercuts or anything. So we're going to import it. So it comes in and you've got the zero plane here. So now what you do, if you want to, you only see one side, don't panic. So come up here and toggle between single side and double side. And it kind of shadows your zero plane. And then when you turn it, you see both sides of it. So now you've got it, you're happy with that. Now, I would not move the size. If you move the size here, you have to go to the bottom, the back side, and do the same to make sure it sits perfectly together. I've made it so it sits together, and if you look at it, it's almost about 4 inches in diameter. So that's the size I want. But again, if you want to change it, you just go in here and change the side, but then you have to flip, you have to go to the other side and do the same thing. So I'm going to keep it as is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bounding box around it, a vector, a bounding vector. So I'm going to go over here, create the vector, and I just clicked on it. Now if I go to my 2D view, it's just easier to see, and you can see that there's a vector around it. Now I'm going to take that vector, right click on it, and copy it to the other side. Now when you flip it, you've got a copy. And every time you flip, now you're on the front. Now if you want to know, you flip it on your 2D, you see you get this yellow bar, which is your design, your rulers. This, when it turns yellow, you know you're on the back side of it. So I'm going to flip it back around to the front. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to, if you open up your components, now you see you have all of these. Now when you bring in a double-sided job, it gives you this merged tab layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight that, and we're going to go into our design and our clip art, and we're going to go to clip art, and we're going to do 3D tabs. I'm going to use this rectangle, the small one. So I'm going to bring it in, and then I'm going to go to 3D view. As you can see, it's too big, sticking through. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lower it down a little bit so it's not all the way up on the edge. So I'll bring it down. That's pretty good. That way it won't break and it's still there. Now we want to get it outside of this, so I'm just going to bring it in. So now you can't see it. Okay? So now what I'm going to do to make it a little easier, I'm just going to highlight it, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip about job center and create a mirrored copy, and I'm going to flip it vertically. Close. Now I've got 2 of them. Now I'm going to take these 2, hold shift, highlight them. I'm going to right click, duplicate. Now I'm going to go over to the rotate, and I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. Apply. Close it. Now you have 4, and they're the exact same size and the exact same position. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of them, hold shift, right click, copy to other side. So now we've got them copied to the other side. So now, if I flip to the other side, you can see it's there, okay? So that's the top, that's the back. And you've got your tabs sitting nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the top, go to my 2D view. Everything's sitting well now. Now what I need to do is very simple. You need to, what I do, you don't need to necessarily, but what I do is I go into my components, I highlight my limit plane, go into my 3D view, and now it's pink. I select it and I actually lower it. So I'm going to lower it by negative 0.02. Enter. You're not even going to tell the difference. Basically, it just lowered it a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my toolpath section, highlight my vector, and I'm going to do a roughing pass. No, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit set. Make sure, now you need, see now it's sitting on the top. What you need to do is double click right on the bottom. And there you go. So it's right there. It's right on the bottom, right in the middle of your piece of wood, because I have it at 3/4 of an inch piece of wood. And the rest of your numbers you keep the same. Say OK. Now what you're going to do is now you've got it highlighted vector. I'm going to do a roughing pass. I'm going to select my roughing bit. Let's check our feeds and speeds for this. I have it going now. Because this is a shallow, I'm only going to set the pass step for 0.2. Normally I would set it for 0.5. But I'm going to set this at 0.2, 70%, 22,000 RPMs, 300 and 150. I'm going to hit OK because I like that. And then I'm going to do a boundary offset of 0.25. Machining allowance of 0.04, Z level strategy, first profile, so it's going to go around first and then clear it out, no angle, and then I'm going to calculate. As you can see, this is where it's going, so I'm going to preview it. Okay, that's our roughing. Now if we go back to our 2D view, make sure it's highlighted. Then you can close this and then go to your finishing pass. I'm going to use my tapered ball nose bit. It's a 10 degree 0.015. So it's a 1/4 inch diameter shank. It's 10 degrees. The tip radius is 0.015, 2 flutes. I'm going to use 10%, 40% for the pass step over, 19,000. I'm going to run it at 200 inches and 200 inches of plunge. So we're saying okay with that. Selected vector, it's highlighted, and we're going to do a boundary offset of 0.1. It's important. You want a boundary offset because you want the bit to roll over all the way down to the edge. So then you're going to calculate it. It takes a little time. All right, so now let's preview. There's our roughing, and here comes our finish pass. And you can see how nice this bit does. Now this is a small model, it's only 4 inches by diameter, and there's a lot of detail. These letters, look how clean they are. Perfect. Perfectly clean, you get beautiful results. If you use a bigger bit, all of this is not going to look clean. It's going to look fuzzy, or it won't be able to, you won't read it, or you will, the words will not look like you can read them. All right, so there we go with that. So now we're going to close this, and I'm going to flip to the other side. So we're at the bottom side. I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure I'm going to go to 2D, select my vector, because it's still hard to see in the 3D. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do my roughing pass, no changes. We're going to calculate it. Great. Now I'm also going to do the finish pass. I already know that the vector is selected. I'm going to use the same bit. I'm not changing anything. We're going to calculate it. All right. We're going to reset it, and then we're going to preview this one. Again, looks really clean. There's your tab right there. It's holding it into the wood. Okay, so now we're done there. So now we know it's carved well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset, and I'm going to flip this over to the top. So now we're on the top view, our bottom. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to preview all sides. Now this is what you're going to see, how it'll cut itself out. You do not need a profile pass for this, because we set that zero plane slightly lower on one side. It will drop the bit a little lower, so it will clean it out, and you will not need a profile. And everything's going to hold into place nicely. Now let's do the bottom side, as you can see up top here. When it's finished, you're going to see that there's going to be nothing right here. It's going to be nice and clean. It's kind of like magic. Not really. Bingo. Now you see it's nice and clean. The edges are perfectly clean. If you flip it over to the other side, edges are clean. You shouldn't really have much of anything to sand. You may, but you shouldn't have to have anything. Now, I have the tabs are holding it in place. All you have to do is cut your tabs, sand it up a little bit, and you're good. So now you've got a double-sided job right there, and we're done.